I'm black and Mexican. I have a black dad, black ass dad, and Mexicana mama de Tamaulipas. My biggest thing is I hate the brown and black hatred going on right now. Porque, like, at the end of the day, we're literally suffering the issues that the colonizers put on all communities. Oh, you're not Mexican. No eres mexicana because I'm half black.
Mm-hmm.
Or even in the black community, you're not all black. You're a little Mexican girl. That's what they would tell me growing up. And with the black people saying, "Oh, y'all are wanting us to sit down," and me myself, even being black, the biggest thing with the ICE raids, they're pushing Los Hispanos out because we stick together. We stick together. I live in Georgia, so like literally, like me being down here as a Mexican or half Mexican, I'm not black enough. Or going to Texas to go visit my family or visitarlos in Mexico, I'm not Mexicana enough. That's the first thing that they think looking at me is I'm a black girl.
You look like you're just black, yes?
Yes, yes.
So could I bring something to your attention?
Okay.
What if I tell you that you are in fact just a black girl?
Because my dad is black?
No, because that's what you are phenotypically presenting, and that's how race.
Morena, right? But don't they use morena and blanca in the Hispanic community though?
No, but we're talking about your phenotype. Like tú te miras como que eres una negra. Y ya.
Uh-huh.
So, ¿qué viene siendo tu raza? What is your race?
I have to put black because my dad is black.
Well, no, it's not because your dad is black necessarily. It's because of what you are phenotypically presenting, whether your mother was the black one or the father was. Es como te ves. What you are presenting to be is what is literally what race is. It's a social construct. It's how society perceives and identifies you from the get-go before
you're right
about you.
You're absolutely right, because presenting, no one would ever guess that I'm half Mexican.
Okay, now let me go there with you. Your ethnic background, that's a whole nother subject matter. You see, you said that your mother is of Native American or indigenous background.
Yeah, she's from Tamaulipas, Mexico.
Okay, your father is African descent.
Yes.
Okay, now check me out. If you did a DNA test, there would literally be no such thing as Mexican, half Mexican, 10% Mexican, because Mexican is not a real.
That's what I'm saying, where I feel like Mexicans are part of the indigenous descent.
Oh, great. I'm glad you acknowledge it.
Yeah, like I think the Mexican term has been turned into what that, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mexican is just a nationality. So in order for you to be Mexican, you'd have to be born in that nation of Mexico.
You're right.
So when you say that you are half Mexican, you're actually not, because technically you cannot be half a country.
I get the terminology. Yeah, I understand.
You know what other individuals have identified as that are in your predicament, if you will?
Yeah, because I was on your live a couple times before, and I've asked. I don't know if you ever seen it, but I that's where I said I've been not confused, but just trying to understand exactly where I stand, being that I was born over here in America, in Minnesota, and being that, like I said, my mom is full-bred Mexicana. She got her citizenship back in 1996 when it was easier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people in your predicament, if you will, that have a parent that is African descent, and then the other parent of indigenous background. You know how they started identifying?
How?
Afro-indigenous.
Okay.
Because respectfully, by the way, it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
Respectfully, there is no such thing as half black, half Mexican.
No. Yeah.
That's such an ignorant way to identify, because you in one hand you're trying to identify with a race, race, and then the other hand you're trying to identify with a nationality. It just doesn't make sense. See, for it to make sense, you would have to be trying to identify with half of one race and half the other race. In this particular case, listen to me. In this particular case, if you're going to identify as half black, the other one has to be half indigenous.
Yeah, and that's what I claim.
Not half Mexican.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
¿Sabes por qué? ¿Sabes por
I see
qué?
what you're saying. Porque Mexico was created, basically.
Because Mexico also has black, white, etc.
Yeah, you're right.
¿Entiendes? So
Mm-hmm.
if you go to Mexico, you see white tea people there too.
Yeah,
Igual que gente que se mira como yo.
I have cousins that are, you know.
Mhm. But going back to your topic, though, it's more important. It's more
Yeah,
important because I've already touched this. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
yeah, I
Going back to
appreciate
your
that.
topic. So the conflict between brown and black people. You, as somebody who is on both sides, tell me more about it. Like, what do you notice?
Okay.
What do you see that Mexicans do that is anti-black?
Well, of course, the colorism, you know, and then I guess with us, I guess like you said, I'm more presenting black. So like when I'm walking next to my mom, they're looking crazy, you know. I mean, both sides. Like I said, the fact that the Hispanics community, they know that they stand stronger together. That's why they're trying to deport them. We're the black people. We're actually killing ourselves off for them. They don't have to do it. If that makes sense, you know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm like I said. I'm just going off of where what I've been raised around. Like I said, I'm from Georgia, so it's just I've been. It's it's a kind of where I'm still trying to just figure everything out. You know.
I was just trying to figure out the reasoning for your questioning her because I can truly see uh, a woman of indigenous
Questioning
descent.
what?
Like I can see like where like I
Her
was trying to see
identity?
the reason for her
Her
question.
identity?
Yeah.
Oh, because the way she identifies is not accurate. It doesn't make sense because she's identifying with a race on one half and a nationality on the other half, and it just doesn't work. Why are you identify with one half as your race and the other half as a nationality? Why not identify yourself with half a race and the other half another race? Why are you able to identify on one half with a race but not the other half? What's preventing you from identifying the other half? Let me tell you what it is. I know the answer is because a lot of people are under the impression that Mexican is a race, and so therefore they use that. And that is the fallacy in this particular claim. And it is my duty because I know to tell her, listen, I understand where you're coming from, but you cannot, it's impossible to be half a nationality and half a race. That's all. It is important to learn how to identify because a lot of people come up here and start spreading a lot of misinformation, such as fake identities like this. Because what you are doing in this particular case, as a half Mexican, you are ethnically cleansing the fact that there's a lot of different races and different ethnic backgrounds in Mexico. There's white tea people in Mexico. There's brown people in Mexico. There's black people in Mexico. So when you say half Mexican, you're already erasing the fact that there is white tea people, black people, Asian, Middle Eastern descent, and you're only acknowledging the brown people that look like me of Mexico, or sometimes the white tea people only of Mexico. Because when people identify as half Mexican, it's either the white tea or the brown, but never the black. And so you are erasing the fact that there's black people in Mexico. So what would have happened if her mother was a Mexican but was black? I bet you she would have not said half black, half Mexican. She would have said I'm black.
Okay, so it would be better for her to say that she's black and indigenous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be the accurate identity.
Okay.
Yeah, the nationality part, it doesn't work. There's no blood in a nationality. Any person, you and I could be born in Mexico and you're a Mexican. That's what makes you a Mexican. No
Right.
blood attachment, no ethnic attachment, not even no cultural attachment. Just being born in that particular country makes you that particular nationality.
Right.
Therefore, identifying with half of that nationality is a fallacy. It's a fake identity.
Right.
That's all.
Right. Okay, gotcha. I mean, I was just trying. I'm like, where is he going? So it would be better for her to say, and I see that she's indigenous and African American.
And there's people like her who have created an identity known as Afro-indigenous. It works.
Right.
It
Well,
works.
it would stand true. She's African indigenous
Yes.
or
Yes.
African Latino. She's either one. Well, no. If you're talking about race, she would be just African indigenous, Afro
Mhm.
indigenous.
It's that simple. We don't need to overcomplicate it.
Right. When I think of the word black, it's more than just a complexion. It's a culture. Yeah, black is a culture. It's not just a complexion.
It's a phenotype, is what it is. Because let me prove it to you real quick. For example, you, I believe you have a Haitian background.
Yeah, I'm Haitian, Haitian
Okay.
Creole. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's a great example that I can make right here. So you, as a Haitian person with Haitian background, if there is a black man from Canada, a black man from the United States, a black man from Brazil, and all of you are walking anywhere, don't matter where, nobody in this world will look at you and identify a Haitian, a Jamaican, a Canadian. They will identify a black person because that's what you are phenotypically presenting. It's just a phenotype, meaning a race. A race literally is a social construct. A social construct is how you are identified by society from the get-go without knowing anything about you. They don't know your national background, your ethnic background, your cultural background. They know nothing about you. All they know is that they identify a black person. Therefore, race is a social construct. It's
Right.
not real,
Right.
but we are affected by it. So
It
when you
holds
say that,
power. It
huh?
does. I see where
Absolutely.
it holds power.
It holds relevance. And we can't escape it. We could say, oh, I don't care about identifying as black. And you have the right. But society, all of society will identify you as such, whether you like it or not.
Regardless of how society views me, I stand tall on I'm a Latino man. Some Latinos, they'll look at me and they're like, well, you're really not Latino. I'm like, I'm just as Latino as you. And most of the Latinos that do that, they look just like you. And
Sure.
they'll tell me that. And I'm like, and so I just like let them have it. I'm like, dude.
Let me ask you a question real quick. When people that look just like me and tell you that, wait, you're not a real Latino, you don't look it, what do they say you look like?
Oh yeah, they'll say, but you're black. I'm like, yeah, but they're black Latinos, just like they're indigenous Latinos. Because
You see how right now you said people that look like me don't identify you as Latino? They're like, but you're black. That proves my point. Your race is what you are phenotypically presenting. Everybody, when you say that you're Latino, which you are, sure. But every time that you identify as Latino, people that are by default identified as Latino will say, wait, you don't look Latino, you look black. So that proves my point. Your experience literally proves my point that race is a social construct. And race is what you are phenotypically presenting. Whether you are from Haiti, whether you want to identify as Latino, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But you are in fact black, and your experience literally proves it, sir. Literally.
okay, but what I'm saying to you is phenotypically, I present as a black man, but I'm telling you, you have to pull. There are things about me that are very Irish. Like people like when I go to see my cousins in Chicago, yes, I am 18% Irish, and I go during St. Patrick's Day. I go and I celebrate with my cousins. In other words, I don't. I love all of me, every aspect of who I am.
The first question I want to ask is, what is the meaning of Latino?
You want to know the origins or the
Or
modern?
just as of today, of what do you believe the average person thinks the meaning of Latino is?
I don't believe, I know. Latino simply means that you are from a Latin American country. That's all it means. Nothing more.
Okay.
Nothing more. Literally nothing more.
Okay, so Dominican, Haitian, all those are Latin American countries.
Whether you're white, black, brown, Asian background, Middle Eastern background, if you are born in a Latin American country, you're Latino.
Okay. Okay, so now I have I have a good understanding. So that means, as you said, then there is no
There's no racial ties to it.
yes, there's no racial tie
Nope.
to it, and I feel a lot of the black ones, they feel that they have to prove because of what the media
Absolutely.
received and pushed. You know what I'm saying? So like what the last lady was saying, a lot of people kind of have to decolonize themselves. You know what I'm saying? Even the like you said before, a lot of the black ones, they want to prove that they're Mexicans. They want to prove that they're, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, it's blacks in Mexico, it's whites in Mexico's. You have variety of brown, you have variety of different people there. So it's like here in America, what is an American?
It's not no racial ties to it.
There's no racial type. So, then why are so many people so eager to say, I'm an American?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's not who you are. Yes, that's where you were born, but that's not who you really are. Black to me does mean an African person or a person that have African descent. Now, I understand because in this generation, a lot of people are ashamed to accept the African part of their ancestry, of their lineage. You know what I'm saying? Like what that last guy was saying, trying to make a claim that so every black person is not African. Every black person is African or have African descent. It's a fact. And I feel that's what's wrong with a lot of black people that's not from actual the continent of Africa. A lot of the blacks over here in America, because of the colonization, they feel the need that they don't want to be African and they don't want to accept that African ancestry, and that's where all the confusion come in because they want to claim everything other than
Other than.
Africa.
A great point that you brought up. You said that a lot of black Latinos have to prove that they're Latino. And in the process of that, a lot of them reject being black in their
Yeah,
fight to
yeah,
claim to be Latino. You hear the Dominicans, oh, me no black, papi, me no black. It's such a thing for black people in Latin American countries to go out of their way to, I'm not black, because they think that it takes them away from being able to be Latino.
yes,
Such a battle, and it's not their fault though, because it's, if you really think about it, it's unfair of the fact that in Latin American country, every people of every racial background is just a Latino except the black. The black has to be an Afro Latino or a black Latino. So you have to think about that. That's fucked up if you really think about it. That's very unfair. And so I humbly understand where they're coming from when they feel they need to go out of their way to say, I'm not black, I'm Latino, because they are in fact in a way rejected from being just Latino like everybody else. So I do understand where they're coming from, but also at the same time, objectively, there is anti-blackness in saying I'm not black. It's almost like, why I gotta be that? Why can't I
yeah,
be the fancy identity? You know what I mean? So,
yes.